The second exercise is about learning how to send commands or data to an application in Node.js. So we're going to build a web server that listens to a specific port and produces dynamic HTML web pages. So to start, we found the simplest case where Node.js code is supposed to listen to a specific port and produces static content. So to start, we go to this second folder, practical 1, and then second folder, and we are going to listen to a specific port and produce static content. So here's the code that we have. So we're going to use two packages called Express and IP, and we're going to listen to port 3000, and then every time we get the GET request, we're going to send welcome to my first page, and if we receive a GET request on v/v2, we're going to welcome to my second web page. We have a lot to learn. So to start, we need to go to this folder, and then we're going to we're going to initialize a package. So here would produce this package JSON, which would contain some information that we need to have. Then we're going to install this npm express package. And eventually we're going to install this IP package. So what we're going to do here, so if you look at this package JSON, so it would say the dependencies to run this code is to have this express and have this IP addresses, and this is the main code. So in our case, this is main express static, so we're going to change that. Okay, now let's run the code and let's see how it actually works. So the code is simple. The code will listen to a specific port, and it will listen to receive GET requests on / and /v2, and it will respond to that. So let's run it. Node main express static.js. I'm listening to this port. Now let's open this. Local host port 3000. So this is welcome to my first page, which is here, and the second one /v2. Welcome to my second web page. We have a lot to learn. So as you can see, now we can send static content to a web page. In a more advanced case, we're going to dynamically produce the content of a page. So first thing we're going to do, we're actually going to have a static HTML file. So we're going to return that every time a GET request came to us. So imagine this is the content that we want to have. So this is what we want to return. So this is welcome to my static web page. This is my simple message, edge computing is cool, different color and everything. So if you look into the content of this, it looks like this. So this is actually static HTML with everything inside it. And if you go to this my express dynamic, now this is where the magic happens. So first of all, we need to install another package. So first we're going to stop this, Ctrl+C, and then we're going to install this EJS. This is the content that it would. Let's go through the code. So we have express IP, then we have the path, and then we're going to have this EJS, which is a renderer, and then we're going to listen to the / and /v2, when the slash came, we're going to send back this web page static AJS. And when the v2 came, we're going to send another one, which is a dynamic web page. So the static one, I already showed you the static one, is the static web page with the simple content, and the dynamic one is supposed to write more information, and is also supposed to roll a dice. Say for example, this time we get a 4, so it's what it's supposed to do. So let's go through the code. If it's a slash, so we're just going to return this, and it's a v2. We're going to render a web page to return. So first thing first, we're going to design the HTML as we want to have it, and then we will just rename the HTML to AJS, and it's going to be the AJS file. So it's not an HTML file anymore, but it's the AJS file. On the dynamic one also, so we also design the HTML just as we do, and then this is the part that is going to be replaced. So this is going to be replaced. You're connected to this address, and it's going to be replaced. Say for example. So they also has some static part and also a dynamic part. And the dynamic part, so when it comes to return to AJS, we're going to send you two information. One, the node IP, and one, the dice itself. So the node IP, we're going to send it through a command, through a variable that we're going to send. It's called HTML node IP, and the other one is HTML dice face. So everything between these two symbols would be rendered by this AJS. So let's go to the JS code. If it's a static one, it would just return this. If it's a dynamic one, it would actually make two variables. We have a random number, we have x1 and x2, and the random number is math of random times 6 plus 1, which is basically produces a number between 1 to 6. And then here is the x1, which is the IP address plus the IP port, and here is we define them on top, and the random number to string. And then we're going to render this file, and we're going to replace HTML node IP with the value of x1 and HTML dice face with the value of x2. So if we go back to this AJS again, here is HTML node IP, HTML dice face, and here is how we're going to feed it, HTML node IP and face 2. So let's execute this code. I'll be listening to the same code again, and now let's refresh this. So we now have this static one, and if I go to v2, now have it. So if I renew it, and it would actually renew itself every 5 seconds or every 1 second or so. And where it is written, it's actually written here. So this is a typical HTML file that we have, and here it is. Initials. Here it is. Refresh content every 1 second. So because of this, so the web page actually refresh itself, and every time it refreshes itself, it would actually execute the code, basically sending this to the Node.js code, which is listening to Node to port 3000, and it would produce this page dynamically. So we're going to use a lot of it, and it's essential that we understand how it works. So we have, and as you can see in the JSON package, now we have this AJS as well. So this is everything we need to have, and here we can produce dynamic web pages.